In Netherlands, to find house is very difficult task. I will provide how I find housing in Netherlands very clearly and what tips you need to follow to find housing. So first, you start your search process by using a reliable platform. Then you choose what type of housing you want, and then if you're okay with the housing you choose, then you will get the rental contract. To get BSN, you need to register with an address. To register with an address, you need to find a house in Netherlands by simply search with the location and number of days you want to stay. Then it provides playthrough number of options, and you can also set the price limit. Shout on me, you're mad or what? Without a housing, how you came to Netherlands? Hi guys, welcome to Charcoin Explore, and this is your host Shanmuk. So today in this video we will discuss about one of the biggest problem in Netherlands, and that is housing. In Netherlands, to find house is very difficult task, and it always trouble to the newcomers to Netherlands. So in this video we will discuss about housing very clearly, and I will provide good valuable information, and I will also provide some valuable tips to find housing in Netherlands. So watch the video till end, you will get some useful info. So if you guys are new to my channel, can just subscribe. Now without doing any delay, let's dive into the video. To make you understand regarding housing in Netherlands, I divided this video into few segments which give you a clarity on housing. And the segments are: number 1, understanding housing market; number 2, the search process; number 3, tips for the search process; number 4, myths about housing in Netherlands; and number 5, sample budget; and number 6, registration and temporary stay; and number 7, finally, my experience. So in this my experience section, I will provide how I find housing in Netherlands very clearly and what tips you need to follow to find housing as soon as possible in the Netherlands. So to kick off, now we will discuss about segment number 1, understanding the housing market in Netherlands. So first things first, let's talk about why finding accommodation in Netherlands can be so tough. Number 1, high demand and low supply. Netherlands is a small country with growing population and booming expat community. So due to this, they have high demand for housing, but they have limited supply for that, and especially cities like Amsterdam, Rotterdam facing this issue a lot. And number 2, student influx. Netherlands have many top university which attract international students every year like me, so which putting additional pressure on housing market. Number 3, strict regulations. Dutch housing regulations can be quite strict. For example, how many people can be stay in a single property, and like how much maximum rent you can charge, this all they follow very strictly. So due to this also, there's like a lot of crisis for housing. Now let's see the housing regulations in the Netherlands. For that, I visit the government.nl website. So in this website we can clearly view regarding the rules of housing and regulations need to follow by the tenants. And the best part in the Netherlands is the threshold of the rent is decided by the government, and the allocation of the house is also vary on the income. In the website you can find for person whose income with 47,699 euros annually, the housing associate leave 92.5% vacant housing. By this, you can understand how Dutch housing rules are unique and different. Now, segment number 2, the search process. Now, let's break down the steps you need to follow to find place in Netherlands. So, number 1, start early. So, begin your search process at least 2 or 3 months prior you need to move, because the early the best. Number 2, use reliable platforms. So platforms like Funda, Housing Anywhere, Kamernet, Facebook are the best platform to find housing in Netherlands. Platforms like Funda, Housing Anywhere and Kamernet need to be your first priority. Facebook need to be your second priority, because in Facebook there are lot of scam. You need to be aware of that. But in Facebook you can kick start your search and you can find some friends and you can find some leads. That's it. But don't blindly trust Facebook for housing in Netherlands. Number 3, be aware of scam. So unfortunately scams are everywhere and housing scams are very high in Netherlands. So I personally want you to be aware of scams. So now I will say few scams you need to be aware of that. Well, if it's come to housing, the scams are very professional. You need to be aware of that. So first things first, never sign on any contract and never pay a single penny to anybody. And also what they do, they will make you like forced to send some money because of this housing crisis. Okay, so never believe on other people words of housing crisis, like if you can't take the house now it will go to somebody else, so because of that you need to pay money to me. Don't believe on this kind of words. And second thing, if we ask any kind of advance money, don't pay. And in that case, if you want to pay, ask him to like show some virtual tour of the room and ask him to talk with the neighbors and or else with your fellow roommates. So if he did all this thing, then you can pay. Otherwise don't pay single money to him. Well, in terms of paying advance money, I only suggest you guys to pay advance money to the university only, because if you are a student and you want housing through university and they ask money, just pay for the university. But rather than university, I recommend you to not pay any kind of money to anybody, like the people, the like brokers. Don't pay any kind of money, because anyhow you're gonna lose that money. I because of my experience, because of my friends, I know this thing, I know. So don't pay any kind of money to anybody. Next, types of housing in Netherlands. Well, there are few types of housing in Netherlands you need to know. So number 1 will be shared apartment, and this shared apartment will mostly occurred by students like me. Well, these shared apartments are like like it comes with 6-9 separate rooms with shared hall, bathroom and kitchen. You need to share these 3 things with other 6, 4, 9 people, depend on the apartment size. And next will be like private studio. These are the luxurious thing, because you will get a separate bathroom, separate kitchen and like a big bedroom. So these are the luxurious thing in Netherlands. And next, full apartment, and this full apartment opt by the family. Like if you stay with a family, this is the ideal choice, like in Netherlands. So depend on each and every housing, the prices will vary, and most of the students opt for shared apartment because it's like cheap in cost and you can like manage. Now we came to the final step of the search process, and that is understanding the rental contract. So first you start your search process by using a reliable platform. Then you choose what type of housing you want, and then if you're okay with the housing you choose, then you will get the rental contract. Now there are few types of rental contract in Netherlands. So number 1 will be fixed term contract, which usually lasts for a year, and the second one will be indefinite contract, so which can be terminated with a proper notice whenever you want. So make sure that you understand difference between these 2 contract before signing a contract. So now I will show you how this contract actually look. This is the tenancy agreement, and this called fixed term agreement, and this will be useful at the time of registration with the municipality to get your BSN number. So that means this document is very important, and in this agreement you will find all the rules to follow and the provided details and the details of the house, and like regarding the provider you will get each and everything very clearly, including your rent, your utility bills, everything etc., including the signature of the provider also. So well, now we will discuss about segment number 3, tips for successful house search in Netherlands. So first one will be prepare your document. Well, if you are a student, you require few documents like your passport, residence permit. Sometimes they also ask you regarding about your admission letter. So if you are an employee, same document, and you need to add proof of income in place of admission letter. That's it. These documents are required at the time of housing in Netherlands. And number two will be how to search in a reliable platforms like Funda, Housing Anywhere, and Facebook. So first I will say about Facebook. Well, Facebooks are the masters in it. So you need to join in groups like housing in Netherlands, housing in Amsterdam, housing in Rotterdam. You can also mention some other city, depend on your university and depend on your job location. I belong from India, so I can also search Indians in Netherlands, Indians in Amsterdam, Indians in Utrecht, like different places. So because of this, you can find some persons, and maybe also you can find people from your hometown also. So you can also search in this type of manner, so that based on this you can find some kind of leads to get your permanent stay, or else if not you can also find some temporary stay. Okay. And in case of like Funda, Housing Anywhere, and Common Net, there are some kind of money like as kind of register with them, and these are the best platform while searching housing. So you can drop your location, and you can also drop your budget. You can see how many houses are available in that location according to your budget. So if you make an appointment, they also provide you some visual tour, and you can also talk face to face. These are the best, no scams in it. So but you need to register with some type of money. Okay. So and also there will different packages, like 10 houses this much, 20 houses this much of package you need to pay. So based on your requirement you can opt for the subscription, and these are the such tips you can use in that platform. And next will be be flexible. The reason I'm just mentioning you this one, like people are always want housing in the center of the city, or else near to the university, or else near to their office. So because of this requirement they need to pay more money for the rent only. Okay. So if you change this perspective, if you opt for a house bit far, not that much far, like bit far from university, bit far from your company, then you can save lot of money. And you can also ask me, like if I opt for a place far from a university, the transportation will be high, right? So how you can recommend to me? Well, in Netherlands the housing prices are very high, but the transportations are cheap. You can get lot of subscriptions, you can get lot of options to travel, so no worries in the transportation. So but you need to think about the housing as your main priority. So if you change your perspective, you can save a lot of money and you can get lot of options. Next, visit multiple places, because don't settle with the first place you see. Visit multiple places, because of that you can get to know you're getting best deal or not for your needs. So if you did not get a permanent stay before your arrival to Netherlands, I personally suggest you to have a temporary stay. Come to Netherlands, stay in the temporary stay, and find housing from the temporary stay. So because of this you will get to understand the market here, and you will also compromise some things, and you will get the best deal from Netherlands. Okay. So in this video I will also mention how you will get temporary stay in the further segment. Okay. Now segment number 4, myths about housing in Netherlands. Well, in this segment I gonna talk some popular myths you gonna heard while you are searching for a good house in Netherlands. Well, if I talk about myth number 1, you can't find housing without an agent. Well, this is the popular myth I heard while I was searching for a housing in Netherlands. Well, you can find housing in Netherlands without agent, but you need to hold some patience, because the agent knows the Dutch market and he can find some leads easily. But you can find housing without agent, but it take lot of time to get some networking and about some leads. That's the only difference. But you can find housing without agent. Next, myth number 2, all affordable housing options are low quality. Well, there are plethora number of housing options are affordable, That means it's not low quality. Dutch houses are properly maintained and up to date. So that means wherever you got housing in less prices, that means it's not low quality. In that cases, you just need to think whether it apt for your requirement, the transportations and the grocery store and the university and the office, like which need to manage according to you. So if in that cases it's okay for you, you can go with that affordable options. Next, we're gonna discuss segment number 5, the sample budget. So in this segment, I gonna share rents of different cities and also how much percentage of your expenses go to rent in Netherlands, which can give you proper understanding of the housing and the rent in Netherlands. If you look at the graphics here, I compared the rent of various cities between shared housing and studio apartment. Here you can clearly see shared housing is cheap, and in the Amsterdam city you need to pay a lot of rent. Next, we have the total expenditure in a month of various cities, which include rent, utilities, groceries, transportation, and others. You can clearly find the difference among them. Finally, I want to show you the monthly budget breakdown for a student in Amsterdam. So the average month expenditure need in Amsterdam is 1100 euros. So in that 52.5% goes only for rent and the other part shared by the other things. So it provides the idea about housing and it percentage very clearly. Now we will discuss the most important segment, and that is registration and temporary stay, where you need to know this stuff before you're coming to Netherlands. Well, now we will discuss about registration. Well, registration. What is registration in Netherlands? Well, if I need to explain clearly, registration means you need to register with an address in Netherlands to the municipality of your place. For example, like if I talk about registration, first you need to rent a house from the owner occupied place. For example, you rent a apartment from the owner who own that apartment, and he will give you a specific document with the signature and his identity. Then you need to show these documents to the municipality. For that you need to make an appointment, and that appointment is called as BSN appointment. You understand? And then they will check the owner occupied apartment is eligible for your registration or not, because in Netherlands there is a specific rules. For example, like for a single apartment there is allowed only 3 registration, and the municipality will check in the database whether the address is registered with the limited people or it crossed the limit. For example, the single apartment in Netherlands is allowed to give around 3 registrations, means 3 identities can register with the address in the Netherlands, and they check in the database and they check whether you are eligible to register with the address or not. Then they check and they include that address in your profile database. Then immediately they give you the BSN number. Now I want to say a key important note, that once you registered with the municipality of your place, then you will get a BSN number. So now the loophole begins. So once you get a BSN number, you are allowed to open a bank account, you are allowed to work as a part-time, you are allowed to do everything in Netherlands. So that means BSN is a primary tool. If you don't have BSN, you can't do anything in Netherlands. So that means you can understand how BSN is important in Netherlands. And now, to get BSN, you need to register with an address. To register with an address, you need to find a house in Netherlands. So overall, you need to understand that to go your things smooth in Netherlands, you need to find a place to stay with registration in Netherlands. So that's your first and priority thing you need to do in the Netherlands, to find a house with registration. So well, in Netherlands there are 2 kinds of people who offers you place with registration and without registration. You need to choose a place with registration only, because once you register with the address, it's not about the place where you stay, it's all about register with the address in the Netherlands and get a BSN. That's the most important thing. Now I will show you how many ways to get registration in Netherlands. So for that I'm using utrecht.nl website. Here in Netherlands you need registration if you stay more than 4 months, and there are three ways. Number 1, owner occupied house. If you are going to rental house, the owner will provide you registration. Number 2, educational institute, and these can also provide you registration. And number 3, so many people don't know that if you are staying with the owner of the house, he is not renting you whole house, but you are staying with them, so he can sign on this document and provide you the address registration in Netherlands. So now we will talk about temporary stay in Netherlands. While the above segment doesn't work for you and you did not find housing in Netherlands and your arrival date to Netherlands coming close, so you need to opt for this temporary stay. So there are so many options you can find for temporary stay. You can ask your friends in the university, you can ask your colleagues in your company to find some temporary stay, and finding temporary stay is very easy. So now I will also show you how you can find temporary stay with affordable budget in Netherlands. So there are myriad number of platforms to find temporary stay, but I recommend Hostel World website. It has affordable options. So if you don't have any kind of permanent stay, I recommend to book hostel for couple of days by simply search with the location and number of days you want to stay. Then it provide play through number of options, and you can also set the price limit and choose dormitory and pay and get a temporary stay in Netherlands until you get a permanent one. Now segment number 7, the final one, my experience. So now I gonna share my experience how I find housing in Netherlands. Well, to be honest, I don't have any housing while I was in India. I just find my housing after coming to Netherlands. It's a very tragic story. I just want to share to you. Well, first things first, I did not even get an university housing when I was in India, because due to some issues I did not able to get that opportunity to get an university housing, and I was very sad. Then I find some other ways to find housing, but it did not work well. But what should I do? I need to report September 1st week to the university, and the days are coming close enough. So what else I can do? I just book my ticket, but I have a fear that I don't have a house in Netherlands. But anyhow, I managed to come to Netherlands. But the best part I did is that when I was in India, I planned how I need to come to the Utrecht Central, because nobody gonna come to pick me to the airport. So I just planned how I need to come to the Utrecht Central, because I don't have any kind of housing. I just planned how I need to come to the Utrecht Central and I came. That's it. So after coming to Utrecht Central, where to go and how to go. So I just search around 30 to 40 minutes, like who gonna help me. So I search in each and every direction. So finally I found an Indian lady. So I went to her and I told my story, like, ma'am, I'm from India, I'm studying in so and so university. Now I don't have place to stay in Netherlands. While listening to her, she shout on me, you're mad or what? Without a housing, how you came to Netherlands? Then ma'am, like, tomorrow I will go to university, because the time I landed in Netherlands, it's almost sunset and all the universities are closed. There is only option me to go the next day. So I was clueless. Then I asked her, like, can you help me? Then she take me to the nearby hotel in Utrecht Central, where it called as Intel Hotel. It cost 150 euros per night, which is very expensive. But what else I can do? I pay 150 euros and I take my first night in Netherlands from that hotel. The next day morning I went to university straight away, and I went to my department and I meet my head of the department and told my story. Ma'am, I don't have housing, what else I can do? Then she is very kind, she asked me to come to her place, and I stayed in her house for 2 days, which is very uh, warming welcome to me to her house. Then I stayed in her house 2 days, and she helped me to find some good hostel to stay. Then in hostel I stay in 2 days. So in this meanwhile 1 week I find so many networks from my university, and my teacher also helped me to find housing. So she suggest me, like you can see some housing options in Facebook. Then I find some way to get housing from Facebook, and I got some networking from the university, and I got some things from somebody else. So but anyhow, finally after 1 month of my search, after coming to Netherlands, I got a permanent place to stay. Well, it's like a kind of tragic story, because from nowhere I came to Netherlands. Then somebody helped me in the Utrecht Central, someone helped in the university, and someone helped me outside of the university. So finally, of everyone help, I find a proper permanent stay in Netherlands. Then I registered with that address, and I got my BSN. Now everything goes very smooth. Well, it's a very tragic story, but anyhow, at the end of the day, I got a permanent stay in Netherlands. But the reason I'm making this video is that you can avoid the mistakes I did, and you can make your house search process very comfortably by following the above segment I mentioned. So nobody is there for me to say like this, but I'm here to say you the proper guidance, and you can avoid so many mistakes. So finally, that's all in today's video, guys. I hope you like each and every segment, and you also like my tragic story of finding house in Netherlands. So if you like these segments, if you like this content, please share to your friends and follow the above contents to avoid the mistakes I did. So stay tuned to Charcoal and Explore for more interesting videos like this. This is your Shanmukh signing off.